When people find out I've been fighting DWIs for almost 10 years, one of the very first questions I always get is, what should I do if I'm pulled over? If the officer turns on his overhead lights to indicate to you that you need to pull over, yes, you have to pull over. You have to identify yourself if an officer questions you, but that's it. You don't have to answer any more questions. You don't have to tell them where you've been. You don't have to tell them where you're going. You don't have to tell them what you drank. If an officer pulls you over and believes that you've been drinking alcohol, you're gonna go to jail. So if you're pulled over by an officer and you've been socially responsible, remember that you're on video. The officer has both a body cam and a dash cam, so everything from the moment the officer pulls behind you is recorded. If you decide to answer the officer's questions about where you're coming from and how much you drank, I don't care what your answer is, just keep a consistent response. He's gonna ask you again at the end of the investigation, and my worst case is for you to change that answer. The officer's going to try and convince you that he knows more and he thinks that you're lying. Don't fall for his tricks. Don't increase the number of drinks you admit to at the end of the investigation. Stay consistent. Do not do field sobriety tests. These tests are designed for you to fail. The officers have been practicing these tests for years. They've done them thousands and thousands of times. They know the tricks behind them, so they look good on video and you look bad. Field sobriety tests are designed for you to fail. They make you look stupid, so that way the state has something to point to whenever we're in front of a jury. I don't care if you volunteer a breath test or a blood test, because I know how to attack both. Remember that you need to volunteer something. If you don't volunteer a breath test or a blood test, the state's gonna get a search warrant, and the state's gonna argue that that shows guilt. If you volunteer a breath test or a blood test, I can attack it. And to me, that shows that you believe that you're not intoxicated. Once you're released from jail, call me immediately. There's important deadlines that I need to tell you about. For example, we only have 15 days to request an ALR. An ALR is a driver's license hearing based on whether or not you give a breath test or a blood test, and whether or not you fail that breath test or blood test. This hearing is crucial to our DWI defense, so call me immediately.